Little spike. Well, good morning. Deer season has come, and for me, deer season is done. Despite my best efforts to get it on film, I did not. The cold sucked the life right out of that camera battery, and it died just as this ordeal started to heat up. But in the ordeal, I left a pair of gloves out there last night, so we've got to go back and try and track down our gloves. While we're at it, we'll walk through the story of how this unfolded. Y'all hang out with us. We're going to put old Beefy Boy in Big Red here, head off to the processor. But before we do that, the downside about deer season is there are people that decide that your property is open to them as well, even though in a lot of places, and in most places, it is clearly posted and it is all fenced off with barbed wire. So we've got some fence to patch. We're going to put some new signs up and hopefully keep people out of here. Y'all, if you're a hunter, respect other people's property, plain and simple. Don't be that guy. Opening morning, I sat up at the bottom of the ridge back here behind me, and somebody came across the property line and sat up on that ridge, and it's only maybe a 200 or 300 yard variation there in height, elevation, from where they were and from where I was. They could have very well been shooting in my direction and not known it. Stay off of other people's property. I mean, if you want to hunt public land, fine, hunt public land, but don't get on somebody else's private property. Let's go fix some fences, get some signs put up, and then we're going to run to the processor and probably do a couple of other things. Y'all hang out with us. Right where I left them, unintentionally, right up here is the stand. All right, y'all, I'm in the stand. Great view, great view. Turning here a little bit, you can see this field. And the other side of the tree is that hollow. I watched this hollow pretty good, and I did not see any deer come out of this area. Right, so at some point they did come out of here, went right up through here, up the hill. And that buck came out first by himself. He went all the way down. And then a bunch of does came out. And that's kind of unusual. Typically the buck is following the does, but not in this case. And they all went down. Well, that buck came back out and went across, and I never could get a shot. He would not stop moving, and those does came back across. Well, at some point in time, that buck made it down here into these woods, and I grunted at him a couple of times and never did see him, and just about given up hope of him showing up. And I looked around this side of the tree. And he's standing right about here, right down here, about 50 yards, and just stopped. And I could not figure out why he was just standing there. I knew he was looking for me after grunting at him. What I'd forgotten is that I had just pulled the four-wheeler just kind of right down here at the edge. And he was looking from over here up through these trees at that four-wheeler, trying to figure out what on earth is going on. He wasn't spooked by it. He wasn't sure what to make of it for sure. And he was just froze. And that gave me an opportunity to stand up, spin around in this stand, and I tried to get through this side, but by then he was behind this tree in here. So I had to come back to this side. And I was able to squeeze behind this tall cedar tree sticking up right here. and that hardwood over there and get a shot on him. Now, my scope is way off, clearly. I put the crosshairs right in the boiler room, and I hit him in the knee, the right front knee. His knee was dangling, and he ran, I don't know, maybe 10 yards, best he could, and stopped. I don't know how well you're going to be able to see. There is a dirt pile or an old mound here that drops off pretty quick right about here. If you go past that, there's a little ravine, just a little drainage ditch there. He stopped and laid down in that ditch. And when he did, I was able to take my time, get a good shot, adjust for my scope being off, and get a good shot on him in the boiler room. And then just way down here, maybe you can see it shining through the trees, there's a down log. That's all the farther he made it. He went to that log and stood there probably 5 minutes and just stood there. He took about 10 more steps and fell right there in that ravine, and it was game over. A lot of people will say hunting is a sport, and I agree it is a sport. It is very challenging, but most people don't hunt for the sport. Do they enjoy the challenge of it? Absolutely. Hunters also hunt to put food on their table and put food in the freezer for their families. They also hunt because they love being outside in the woods. Alright y'all, so as you can clearly see, bright yellow sign, but look here, look at this fence. Literally pushed down where you can just step right over it. Now granted, it was not much of a fence to begin with, but you would think a fence with a sign means keep out, right? Somebody shot up here opening morning, and I was sitting right down here at the bottom of this hill. You want to talk about dangerous, and I'm going to tell you, that's dangerous for me with somebody trespassing because they don't know I'm back there. It's also dangerous for them. If I had shot, I don't know they're up here, right? There's a potential for an accident to happen. Now, if you get caught trespassing on somebody's land, it may get very unhealthy for you. You never know how a landowner is going to react to finding you on their property. So, if you're a hunter, don't get on somebody else's land if it's private. You got permission to hunt it, fine. Make sure the owner knows you're there and when you're there. You want to hunt public land. That comes with the same risk of you never know where another hunter is, but if that's all you got, go for it. I don't know how well you're going to be able to see it, but there's a yellow posted sign way down there. Repurposed as much of that old wire as I could. Put some new wire on there. Fix the fence way down the hill down there and put posted signs about every 50 yards or so all the way down through there. So for about 125 yards that way, the fence is fixed and posted. All the way down through here, fence is fixed and posted. And about 100 yards down this way, the fence is fixed and signs posted. As windy as it is, the camera's not going to pick it up. This cat is steadily growling at me. Alright, we're going to get this cat dispatched and then we'll take a good look at it. Stand by. Alright, so right there's the tree. Right there are the chickens, less than 100 yards away. A little too close for comfort. Alright, just for reference there, you can see the size of the cat compared to the size of the .22 rifle. Not a big cat by any means. Leg hold trap. Just push the fur in here a little bit. Like I can feel in there, like there's no broken bones in there. It's not squishy. Those things sure do mean business. Good grief. Imagine that thing crawling up your leg. Ooh-wee. No, thank you. Pretty good chompers in there. It's amazing how clean those teeth are for being a wild animal. I've seen domesticated dogs with much worse dental hygiene than that. Got a nice little female, super soft and thick fur. Nice pattern here on the hindquarters. Pretty animal. I just wish they weren't so destructive to chickens and farm animals.